The town of Utqiagvik, Alaska, also known as Barrow, is the closest Americans can get to the North Pole without a passport or boarding a boat. But how do you get there, and more importantly, what is there to do once you get there?
We spent a whole day there, and today on Traveling Days, we'll let you know what, in our experience, are the top 8 attractions in Utqiagvik and how to plan your trip. There are no year-round roads you can drive to Utqiagvik on. The only flight is from Anchorage, Alaska, so first make your way there.
There's only one daily round-trip commercial flight each afternoon, with an additional morning flight on Mondays. The flight lasts 1.5 to 2 hours, depending on the weather.
Speaking of weather, make sure to bring winter gear. Even in June, the temperature was in the 30s, and it rarely gets above the 40s or 50s even in the peak of summer.
Being well above the Arctic Circle, the summer solstice is the time of year that the sun never sets, and of course the opposite goes for winter.
Bring good walking boots. This town has no paved roads beyond the airport.
The city of Utqiagvik is made up of 3 main sections. This is a good time to mention the town has 2 names. Utqiagvik is the traditional Iñupiat name for the ancient settlement.
The nearby peninsula was named Point Barrow by British explorers and applied to the town by American settlers because, well, it was easier for them to pronounce.
In 2016, the traditional name was officially restored, although some landmarks, buildings, and services are still named Barrow, and some locals, especially older residents, still casually call the town Barrow out of convenience.
The southernmost section of Utqiagvik, known historically as the Barrow side of town, is sort of the downtown area. It includes the Wiley Post Will Rogers Memorial Airport.
Why is it called the Wiley Post Will Rogers Memorial Airport? Because Will Rogers and Wiley Post, possibly the most famous pilot of his time after Charles Lindbergh, both perished in a plane crash not far from town. You can find a monument to them just outside of the airport and to the left.
You may have seen this iconic signpost in pictures and movies of Utqiagvik. It's right next to the Wiley Post Will Rogers Monument. That is, until a windstorm blew it over. Maybe one day they'll install another one, but as of this video, it's no longer there.
Keep going in this direction, and you'll find the remains of prehistoric indigenous sod houses and a small whalebone arch overlooking the Arctic Ocean.
Continuing along the coastline, you'll encounter the first shop, a local gift and craft store that sells souvenirs, postcards, snacks, sewing supplies, games, flowers, and yes, furs.
Don't know what it is, but it sure is up.
This lagoon separates Barrow from Browerville, the largest and more residential area of Utqiagvik. This is where you'll find the largest and most famous iconic Whalebone Arch, and maybe your first opportunity to touch the Arctic Ocean.
Oh, you're right, that's cold.
If you're traveling to Utqiagvik in June, and we highly recommend you do, you may be able to witness Nalukataq, a multi-day festival celebrating the end of the spring whaling season. The community gathers for a potluck of traditional dishes hosted by the various whaling captains and crews.
The festivities begin around noon, and the meal is followed by a blanket toss, drumming, and dancing in the evening. The dates of Nalukataq are typically held around the summer solstice. The official dates depend on how the whaling season goes, but are published by the Alaska Eskimo Whaling Commission.
If you plan to watch or join the festivities, bring a camp chair, dinnerware and utensils, and a thermos for complimentary tea and coffee. And plan to arrive early. Nalukataq is most commonly found next to the Top of the World Hotel, but check with locals about specific festivals.
Whenever you visit, be sure to check out the Iñupiat Heritage Center. You'll learn about life in the Arctic for humans and for animals, and about ancient and modern whale hunting tools and practices. This life-sized bowhead whale model was created by the same person who built animal models for the movie Free Willy.
The Iñupiat Heritage Center is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 and is closed from noon to 1 for lunch. Tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for youth and college students. Seniors and children under 7 are free.
The northernmost part of the northernmost town is named for the Naval Arctic Research Lab, or NARL. It's the smallest and most isolated part of Utqiaġvik, but home to the Utqiaġvik College and the northernmost football field in the world. But all of that is on the way to the tippy top of the US, Point Barrow.
Let's talk about getting around Utqiaġvik. For the most part, town is very walkable from the time you get off the airplane. If you have time, this is the best way to enjoy town up close and see the serendipitous sights. The most difficult place to reach on our list will be Point Barrow. It's 10 miles from the airport, which is a little far to walk.
Your other option is to call a cab. Cabs are everywhere in Utqiaġvik. The only trouble is there's no cell phone reception or wireless internet signal in Utqiaġvik for tourists to look up the phone number or to make the call. Fortunately, anyone at a reception desk will have the number and is willing to make the call for you. The cab drivers only accept cash, at least ours did, so be sure to visit the ATM before you call. This may be the northernmost Wells Fargo in the US or anywhere.
A cab is still not recommended for getting to the point. The road to the point is deep sand and loose gravel, and most cabs are not equipped to handle it. We persuaded a cab driver to take us as far as he could, and he almost got stuck. Comment below if you'd like to see us try again in a future video. We made it almost all the way to the northernmost point.
Almost all the way. Lastly, there are limited options to rent a car. This is probably your best option if you plan to go far out of town like the Point or the site where Wiley Post and Will Rogers crashed. Be sure to rent a vehicle with good clearance and traction.
Unless you plan to do a day trip on a Monday like we did, you'll need somewhere to stay the night. There are 3 main hotels in Utqiaġvik: the King Eider Inn, Latitude 71 Bed and Breakfast, and the Top of the World Hotel.
The King Eider Inn is a small hotel only a few steps from the airport and offers a private sauna and optional kitchenettes.
Latitude 71 Bed and Breakfast is near the Iñupiat Heritage Center, and it's home to 71 North Tours, which will take you on a 2-hour road trip all the way to Point Barrow from wherever you are.
The Top of the World Hotel is the largest hotel in Utqiaġvik. They're the home of Tundra Tours, where Iñupiat guides will take you to, you guessed it, the tundra, as well as the Iñupiat Heritage Center and other scenic and cultural sites. This is the only hotel with an airport shuttle and an in-house restaurant.
One night in any of these hotels will range from $200 to $400 or more in the summer. There are also about a dozen listings on Airbnb, which range in size, quality, and price.
Aside from the restaurant at the Top of the World Hotel, you can count the number of restaurants in Utqiaġvik on 2 hands. Most of them serve Asian cuisine, some serve pizza, and one serves Mexican. Groceries are jaw-droppingly expensive because they can only be flown in, so budget accordingly.
Well, you now know enough about Utqiaġvik to plan your own trip. Drop a comment below to let us know when you're going. Or if you've already been, what else would you add to your itinerary? Subscribe for more videos like this one. See you next time on Traveling Days.